fi ñu ñëw lu gën a daw yaram di gën a daw yaram wax dëgg yàlla mooy suñu maam yi ak suñu maamaati maam yi nga xam ne ñu ngi leen sut ñu ñëw ñàkk lu def ñëw di gëré da loolu dëgg dafa daw yaram ana boo déggee ñu ne rest in peace.
The Banjul City Council Mayor, Rahim Malik Low, claims the government does not communicate with her on matters concerning Banjul and its surroundings.
The last rest in peace mooy fi nga xam ne fa ngaa tëdda ba Allah ci ngoon ñu ñëw fekk la fa.
There are so many things happening in our borders. Xamuñ ci dara amuñ ci benn hands. Initially bañ gisee li start we thought is private businessman ak reduce it.
The matter we have at hand today is regarding the widely circulated information or rumors that Jahoil is building on a cemetery site and an old burial ground, and which has been put out of context, and I think it has been unfairly painted, and I think we deserve to be heard for them to understand that the site in question is not a Jah Oil property. It is not our project at the same time. Our project is Radio Seed, as you can see over there.
Radio Seed was the first commercial radio station in Africa. It had been destroyed in a fire in last year, January 2020, when after the radio stopped operating when the antenna collapsed in 2002. It was already a guest house by the time of this fire. Talking about the fate of this building, it has now been turned into a petrol station which is still under construction and belongs to Jah Oil Company.
And again, bile mo Hamidou Jade fu dara businessman la rek kuy def liggéeyam su dee dëgg dafa am rek ñu wax ko te yàlla tax defu dara kii dafa apply ne fii laa soxla ñu ekkati ko jox.
Radio Seed, everybody who is a Banjulian, even the young ones, might have heard about the famous Radio Seed. It is a private property that used to house a radio station. It was turned to a guest house, and then the guest house also burned down. It was lying in ruins again, until we came and negotiated the price with the owner, and we bought the property. And we had all the documents to that effect, and we've secured all the government, line government's approvals to construct what we are doing there, as you can see.
Mr. Katim Toure, city engineer of the Banjul City Council, had this to say.
Initially, bañ gisee li start, we thought is private businessman ak reduce it. Discussing ci dara amu ci problème. Waaye immediately after reduce it, da nga am di Muslim cemetery, am di Catholic cemetery. Ñoo toppante. So génnee within the borders of the reduce it, nga bugg a dem nag within the areas of the cemeteries. Foog naa ne business yi war nañoo jóg pour clear seen bopp ne suma yi xamuñ ci dara.
On so many occasions pour wane ne many things dafa xew biir Banjul ñun council duñ ko yëg, and I am here with my councillors.
Now, when we come to the issue of the old cemetery, people need to understand this. If you point at Jah Oil saying Jah Oil is building or expanding into the old cemetery, it is a completely false information, and it is a wrong information. Simply because the project at hand there is not our project.
Fii ñu taxaw nii fi la Muslim cemetery bi starté dem deep inside nga am di Catholic cemetery foog naa suñ demee si kanam dañ mën a gis bàmmeel yi benn benn.
Excavation is ongoing beside Radio Seed to build a police station, but the mayor of Banjul today has visited the site and communicated that the site was an old graveyard and Jah Oil is excavating these graves.
Immediately after Radio Seed from the boundary, going this way, cemeteries la amul anything lu nekk space bu nekk seen diggante. For now, is very clear to everybody.
I don't want to answer any question in English because this is clearly.
What the Lord Mayor was saying here, I feel for her. Being a lady, being on the opposite side of the camp, there are so many frustrations that could happen. But that has nothing to do with us.
The big question is it political or gender-based against the Mayor Rahim Malik Low?
Mooy yéen dama bëgg a laaj askan bi lii ndax mayor bi lim nekk jigéen moo tax man ma ne déedéet because dama ne jënd carte bi warut a pile dara dama ne ndax mayor bi lu mu nekk UDP la dama ne déedéet parce que opposition bi war naa mun a liggéey ak nguur gi kon lan la doon ma delloo ko waat ak askan bi ngir yàlla pour ngeen utal ma tontu parce que bii métti na torop ba fu méttit em suñ maamaati maam bi fi ñu tëdda ñu ne foofu leen jël grade ko rek.
This is not our property and it's not our project. We are just helping as a usual philanthropist to help build things for them, help sponsoring schools, help sponsoring police stations, just as usual. But according to the investigation we did with the physical planning, where the fence of radio seat stopped going towards Serekunda, they said there is about a 75 meters buffer zone between the fence and the old cemetery, which makes sense. Because when you go about that distance, that is where you see where the fence starts, of the starting of the fence of the old cemetery. So where the excavation, the police excavation was happening for their police post, actually was within that 75-meter buffer zone. And no wonder why I give credit to that information is because no wonder when we were excavating for the foundation, which was about 2 meters deep or more, we didn't even come across with any remains or bone of any kind. If that place was the old cemetery like the mayor has claimed or the others, there is no way you can excavate in that area without coming across a bone or a remain. But we didn't come across anything. And going 75 meters away from the fence, that is where you see the beginning of the old cemetery fence. And visibly, in fact, you can see tombstones, you can see graveyards in that area. So the information is misleading. I don't know whether they didn't do their homework properly or who actually pushed them to come into action like this without getting their facts together. It doubts me, and it still continues to baffle me. But I don't know what's the problem. But I leave that to you to further investigate. Don't rely on what I tell you. Look at the sketch plan, and then you can go to physical planning and find out. But there is a 75-meter buffer between where the fence stops and where the old cemetery starts.
For Sahel Network News, Aja Kadisanyang.